Hello, everybody. I'm talking about 2022 and what to expect. This is a special treat for all of you. I did an hour plus webinar for the Sivananda Yoga Farm in Grass Valley. And this is the recording from it. I'm first time talking about what are the aspects of 2022 where Saturn is, Jupiter, eclipses, Kal Sarpa Yoga, lots of information. Hello, I'm Komilla Sutton, and we are talking 2022. And do remember to subscribe, press the bell notification, and a reminder to you that I'm talking about 2022 and what we can expect. This is specifically a webinar, and it is over 1 hour long. So do listen to it right to the end, because there's a lot of information and very detailed. I'm using charts and giving all the information. I'm going to talk about the Chatra Shukla chart. I'm going to talk about Saturn in Capricorn Aquarius, how it affects in Sadesathi, Jupiter in Aquarius and Pisces, the yogas Jupiter is creating, Rahu Ketu and the eclipses, retrograde planets. So as usual, very packed, and do leave me comments at the bottom. Thank you.
Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Om Dhanamulam Gurur Murti Pujamulam Gurur Padam Mantramulam Gurur Vakyam Mokshamulam Gurur Kripa. Om Adityaya Somaya Mangalaya Budaya Cha Guru Shukra Shanibhyascha Rahuve Ketave Namaha. Om Him Kunda Mrilalabham Daityanam Paramam Gurum Sarva Shastra Pravaktaram Bhargavam Pranamamyaham. So today's Venus's day, so you can see I'm kind of in white color today in honor of Venus. And so we are going to talk about predictions 2022. And I just want to share with you that I'm as far as the recordings are concerned, please connect with the yoga farm for it. And and questions, I will answer questions at the end of the presentation. So any questions you have, please keep to the end. These are my books. I've written many books on, and you can get them from my website, komilla.com. I'm just going to talk about the predictions today. And this is me. This year is off, 2022. So what is going to be experienced in 2022? So there are two types of planetary experience. One is personal, when planets are either affecting you directly, but they may be strong transits and they do not affect you directly. So even though something is happening, you are kind of immune to that situation. And for personal transits, you have to study the full chart as well. Dasha's transit make up the complete experience at any given time. The thing about the planets are, and what we all have to understand is that they're always moving, they're always changing. Therefore, we have to remain calm during crisis. That is the main thing. We have to keep our balance. We have to do our sadhana. And I'll talk about the remedies at the end. And that is why, following the yogic path as taught by Sivananda is most important, and doing the spiritual things and bhakti yoga, trusting the process and doing the right thing. When the transits are, you are experiencing the transit, and it doesn't matter who you are, great or small. As I was telling you, my own transit experience with that Mercury Ketu conjunction, a nail went into my tire, and I actually drove to Oakland Airport, drove back from it with that nail, and drove to the service center in Walnut Creek. And I was just, some blessing was there. Otherwise, I could have been stuck at any one of these places with the nail that was bothering. So sometimes there's some extra blessing that we experience that makes life easier for us. And then there are global transits, challenging and positive, have effect on the world. We personally can experience them through family, friends, world issues, weather, unforeseen circumstances, travel, political unrest. These are shared experiences. So as we are talking just now today, we are between two eclipses. The eclipses are not visible here in USA. They are only, I think the lunar eclipse was visible, but it is affecting, and then Mercury Ketu, and then Mercury is with the sun, and there's all sorts of aspects. And this global experience, one of the things that is happening in San Francisco and in the Bay Area is that these people are coming and going into luxury brand stores and stealing stuff, because the energy gets very disturbed around this time. And you could say, yeah, it's happening somewhere, it's happening in other areas, but I'm living in San Francisco Bay Area. But my niece went for dinner, and on the way back, obviously some of these people, they came and they destroyed her car. So they live about an hour away. So the car was broken. There was nothing in the car that they could steal, but that's, when this energy gets disturbed, then, we don't have way to control it. So that is why this is always important when you are studying these things, is to keep your balance, otherwise it is very easy for the balance to get out of control. So one of the aspects that has been my very favorite thing is, for many years, is cosmic planning. Know the transits, learn to cope with their effect. Instead of planets managing you, learn to manage them. Avoid doing important things on tough transit days. Avoid travel. Now, today, I'm just showing you the chart for today. And this is right now the chart. And you can see Ketu and Mercury are very close together. But Mercury is also very close to the sun. So this is aspect here. However, moon is on its own. So moon is not being disturbed by these. It is opposite Jupiter. But this Mercury Ketu and the sun, if that affects you, then it can be a big problem. And so we have to not allow the planets to manage you. But what happens is sometimes you don't have a choice, because something happens, then you know that this is a a challenging time, then you have to learn to cope with it. So let us come to our 2022. So 2022, caution continues. Saturn dominates in Capricorn and Aquarius. Actually, this is Jupiter. Jupiter is also in Aquarius. So like today, there is all the news of this new variant, Omicron or something like that, that has come. And as far as COVID is concerned, it's going to take time before we get a handle on it. By mistake, I continued with Jupiter's picture here, but I'm just going to see if I can change it and get the picture of Saturn here. And I collect all these pictures, so I have always, there we are. There's Saturn from the Ashram. No, this is not the Ashram. Anyway. So I think this is the Ashram. This is Saturn. This is Ketu here from a puja. And so 22, it is important for us to remain cautious. You know, the COVID, its variants, it's all going to be there. So we have to take time to think about how we are going to deal with it. And in 2022, the month that is most complicated is April 2022. I have to say it isn't as difficult as the year 2021, 2020, but 2022 starts, April 2022 is a very complicated month. The reason is this, that it starts with Mars-Saturn conjunction on the first day. And then it's going to bring a big change. Now, a big change may be good for us because we have been dealing with the COVID and lockdowns all through Saturn in Capricorn. And it is in April that Jupiter changes signs, Rahu Ketu change signs, Saturn. So 3 major planets, when we are studying Vedic astrology, the major planets are important. Jupiter and Rahu Ketu. Jupiter is 13th April, Rahu Ketu is 12th April, Saturn is 28th of April. So the big guys change signs. And that means that there is going to be a shift of energy. And I would say that this is also bringing a big shift for everybody. So, but while the shift is happening, we have to be conscious of it. And then actual fact is this, that the world horoscopes are read from Chaitra Shukla Pratipada. We are looking at it for January 2022. But actually, according to the Vedic astrology, world horoscopes are read from Chaitra Shukla Pratipada, new moon in Pisces. This takes place in March, April annually, according to the sidereal calendar. So looking at that chart, that is very important to see what the world is going to take, what is going to happen. Now, this Chaitra Shukla Pratipada is also known as Ugadi. And I'll just put that word here, which means Yuga plus Adi. So this date in the calendar, why it is important for all of us is that the belief is that on this specific day, Ugadi day or Chaitra Shukla Pratipada day, Brahma started the creation. So you can think from the moment of creation to now, every year, this chart is studied to know what is happening in the world. So the idea here is that the world has got a shared experience. So whatever the world is going to experience in the year, everybody experiences it in a similar way, because the planets are the same, but there's this one chart that is telling you what is happening. And this year, the Ugadi, or the Chaitra Shukla Pratipada, is on 1st of April 2022. And world horoscopes are decided from the year. And what I've been noticing is that the last 3 or 4 years, the name of the year has been very inauspicious. And April 2022 is the first time that we get an auspicious name. And this year, the name is called Shubha Kritu, which means Shubh means auspicious. So it means full of auspiciousness. And, I've been studying the Chaitra Shukla charts for years and to see what is telling. But I was not paying enough emphasis on the name of the year. It was only when COVID came, and the year before COVID and the year of COVID and last year, all the year names were very negative. And this was the first time I realized that there is a secret with these names of the year. So April 2022, there's not only an all change as far as the planets are concerned, but the name of the year, after I think 4 years, we get an auspicious named year, which is Shubha Kritu. And so I feel cautiously optimistic. I would say caution is important, but this April 22 is very changeable. So we have to be not caught up in the change. We have to wait till the change takes place. And then the Chaitra Shukla Pratipada chart. Now, the Chaitra Shukla Pratipada is not the easiest chart. So name of the year represents its quality. Shubha Kritu means auspicious. So that means this year, the year's name was Plava. Plava means sometimes good. You are on a boat, riding a boat, and the boat can take you anywhere. And so you're kind of in the hands of God in a way. So the 2021 year, Plava year, was, that how if you are just riding a boat and you don't have any kind of equipment or anything, the boat can go anywhere. So that was not a very easy year. And now next year, Shubha Kritu, this is a very auspicious year. And therefore, I feel that even though when you look at the chart for this Chaitra Shukla Pratipada, it doesn't look so easy, the fact that the name of the year is good indicates that there are going to be underlying positive energy for the year. So this is the Chaitra Shukla Pratipada chart. Now, what happens is, how this chart is made is that it is made for your country. So, for example, we have many students here from Japan. So the chart will be made for this new moon chart. You can see here sun and moon are together, but it would be made for the location of Tokyo, which is the capital of Japan, or Beijing, which is the capital of China, or New Delhi for India. If you are in Europe, you could take London, UK, to see what is happening for the year. And so, this chart, obviously we have to wait a few more months for this chart to actualize. But as we are looking into the future, we have to pay attention to this chart. And one of the things here is that what you can see is always for the Chaitra Shukla Pratipada chart, sun and moon are together. But what house they are together is important. And here it is fourth house, home, property, happiness, they'll always be in Pisces. The nakshatra is Revati. So Revati is a good nakshatra. Nakshatra can be different. What you can see here is that Mars-Saturn conjunction. Actually, luckily, the conjunction is not exact. Here, 1st of April, I think Mars-Saturn exact conjunction is 4th or 5th of April. But Mars-Saturn, Mars is in its exaltation sign, Saturn is own sign. This can be a frustrating combination, but it can also show, money on infrastructure, on technology. Those are the things that are powerful. And the other factor, which is all of us have to be careful, is that Rahu Ketu are still in their exaltation. Ketu is in Scorpio, Rahu is in Taurus, but it is a Kal Sarpa yoga. That means all the planets are one side of Rahu Ketu. So this is very important factor. There's a big imbalance in the world, and I put some points here. And then for this Chaitra Shukla Pratipada chart, we also look at the Tithi. So you can see here the month of Chaitra, the day lord is Jupiter, and Tithi is first, and yoga is Indra. Indra means he defeats the demon. Indra is very powerful, good yoga to have. And nakshatra is Revati. Revati is a very auspicious nakshatra. So it is about sowing seeds for the future. That is what is important in Revati. So we have overall a good Panchanga, but Jupiter is the lord of the year, and he's also for USA, the lord of the ascendant. What happens is that these charts, the ascendants will change. So if we are, say, looking at UK chart, the ascendant will be different. I'll just show you 1 second. I don't have China or Japan's chart, but I will just, I have here Chaitra Shukla USA. And this is the chart I was showing you, but I'd made one for Chaitra Shukla 2022 for UK. Now you see, UK has a different quality because the ascendant has changed, and all the degrees are the same. Everything is the same. Ascendant has changed. So we have Aries ascendant, Mars Saturn in the 10th house. Kal Sarpa yoga is still there. Jupiter, Venus is there. Now, these softwares don't make these charts, so you have to make it yourself. So let us just look at, we have a lot of students here from Tokyo, or not necessarily Tokyo, but from Japan. So I'm just going to show you how to make the chart for this, for Tokyo. Did I make it for, what happened here? Oh, shucks. I changed it. UK save chart. I need to go back. Excuse me. I don't want to lose that chart, and I just make it for Japan now again. So sometimes what happens in this is that because of the time difference, and I'll just show you, sorry. Yeah, so because of the time difference, see, now I just made the same chart, and you can see the moon is still at 12 degrees here on first. So we have to go forward by the hour. so that you get the moon to come to the same position as the sun. So you see the time difference is quite a lot. And here we have, so this is at 15:24:55 is the Chaitra Shukla for Japan. And so now you see the chart remains the same, but the Lagna Lord has changed and Sun is gone into the 8th house of transformation. So in each one of these charts, what you see is that this chart is studied according to the capital of the country. And you can also look at capital of the state, like California, you could look at Sacramento chart if you wanted to do. Of course, this is a whole process that people want to study this, but it is, each country has its own charts, which gives an ascendant and emphasizes the planets and the houses. While the world shares the same horoscope, each country will have a different ascendant. Panchanga can be different too. Therefore, each country, here we can see in Japan's chart, you see that it's on Friday, Venus's day. In USA's chart, it is USA's chart, it is Thursday. So that makes a big difference that Thursday or Friday, the day starts. So each, and there again, UK also has Friday as the day starts. So while the name of the year is auspicious, there are many challenges in the Chaitra Shukla chart. Mars-Saturn conjunction in Capricorn promises stress, but I also feel that this promises expense on infrastructure, spending on infrastructure, spending on technology for USA, especially its second house, but Mars-Saturn can give technical expertise. And of course, we are all meeting through Zoom. We are meeting through technology. So technology can make a lot of difference. Rahu Ketu and Kal Sarpa shows divisiveness does not end. So we have to be careful about divisive politics because Rahu Ketu and Kal Sarpa happen. It's not that uncommon for Kal Sarpa to happen by transit. When Jupiter and Saturn are one side of Rahu Ketu, then Kal Sarpa can happen. So here we can see Saturn, Jupiter this side, and then the faster moving planets come there and the Kal Sarpa happens. So here we see that for 2022, the Chaitra Shukla, that's after April 1st. And I just put the same chart here. So for USA, the ascendant is Sagittarius, Lord Jupiter is in Aquarius, and in Marana Karakasthana. Third house is not regarded as the best position for Jupiter. This shows lack of energy to listen to advice or taking wrong advice. When a planet is in Marana Karakasthana, which is third house for Jupiter, it means that there's some kind of laziness, a lack of effort to do things. So if you see here, this is just for USA. USA has Jupiter and Marana Karakasthana. When we see the other charts, this is UK's chart. Jupiter's in the 11th house. In Japan's chart, Jupiter's in a different house, 7th house. So it doesn't have that quality. So this for USA specifically, the MKS means that it's not about personal issues here. This is how the government is functioning. And this may be something that we feel that the government is not going anywhere. There's a divisiveness and so those are things that we have to watch out for. And as a public, we should not engage in those things. We have to remain detached, because sometimes there's a lot of divisive stuff on media and other things. So we have to remain detached from it. I think that is most important factor here. So then now let us look at the rest of 2022. So Saturn is in Capricorn and Aquarius in 2022. So this is a beautiful Saturn from my temple in Chandigarh. And he has this lovely yellow flowers and very auspicious. When I go to Chandigarh, I always visit this temple. I think I regard this as my temple. So very beautiful. So in 2022, Saturn is in Capricorn twice. So mostly you could say that throughout the year, Saturn is going to be in Capricorn. From up to 28th of April 2022, Saturn transits from 21 degrees 24 to 30 degrees. Now, one of the factors I want to say to you is that this whole COVID thing has been due to Saturn in Capricorn. We started with Saturn coming into Capricorn in January 2020, and so this Saturn still being in Capricorn, we cannot rush this issue fast. We may want to get rid of it, or we want to have our freedoms, but this aspect is there that we have to be conscious of it. But Saturn's transit here is going to be up to 28th of April 2022 in Capricorn, 21 degrees 24 to 30 degrees. Now, if you have a planet placed in these degrees, then Saturn is going to go over those planets. If it is placed before that, that means you did it this year or last year. You've already done the intense Saturn transit. Then Saturn is going to retrograde back on 12th of July 2022 back to Capricorn at 30 degrees Capricorn, and then it will retrograde back to 24-25 Capricorn. So if you don't have your chart, you should get your chart. If anything is there, moon, ascendant, sun, these are the degrees. The degrees matter because it's a precise aspect here. And so 12th July 2022, you have 24-25, it retrogrades back. And on 22nd October, Saturn will go direct at 24 degrees 25 up to 28-12 end of 2022. So what is happening is that actually early 2023 Saturn will go into Aquarius. So when I'm talking 2023, Saturn is in Aquarius. But you can take it like if you have planets after 21 degree up to 30 degrees of Capricorn, that is where Saturn is most interested in those degrees. So anybody with the planets there are going to experience the transit. And so I just want to show this to you just so that you understand. I wasn't planning to show a chart, but I'm just looking at the only Capricorn I remember is Barack Obama. So I'm going to show you his chart. Here's Barack Obama's chart. So what you see here is that he has ascendant at 24 degrees 43 minutes. That means next year Saturn is going to go over his ascendant, and it is going to go backwards as well, because you see here that Saturn, 12th of July, Saturn will retrograde up to 24 degrees 25 on 22nd October 2022. So therefore, that is going to be exactly on his ascendant. So that can be, some pressure, sometimes health, sometimes other things that you can see in an individual chart. And 2022, October 2022, Saturn will go direct and ends the year at 28-12. But you could say up to 30 degrees if we are looking at it. And then Saturn in Aquarius, he just goes for a little while this year, 28th April 2022 to 12th of July. He's going to be direct from 28th April to 4th of June. And then from there, 4th of June, he's going to retrograde back at 1 degree to 12th of July. So this is a April, May, you could say 2.5 month transit into Aquarius. However, if you have moon ascendant within that 1 degree of Aquarius, that means then Saturn is coming on to you, then, but actually the main impact will be 2023 of Saturn in Aquarius. And this is why I said that we still have to be cautious, because Saturn is not, he goes into Aquarius, he tests the water and he comes back. So he's not going further into Aquarius, and that is what is important. And then one of the major transits that we study is Sadesathi. And Sadesathi is 7.5 years. It's a transit that takes place when Saturn transits 12th, 1st, and 2nd house from the moon. Sadesathi at present is moon in Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius to April. Then from July 28th, then from 28th April to 12th July, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces will get this transit. One sec. I just remove the July. Yeah. So, so there's this mini Sadesathi, a mini break for Sagittarius moons, but mini Sadesathi 2022 for Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces moon. So if you have Pisces moon, then you're just starting into small Sadesathi. And if your moon is between 21, 24 Capricorn to 1 degree Aquarius, then you're experiencing intense Sadesathi. Sadesathi is a 7.5 year transit. However, there's a crescendo where it goes at a peak, and that crescendo comes when Saturn is transiting over your planets. And he's going to transit so 2022, Saturn is going to go from 21 degrees 24 Capricorn in January 2022, and it'll go up to 1 degree Aquarius, retrograde back, and then go back again for 23. So that means all these places are very important, and so we have to pay attention to it. And then Saturn stationary degrees. These are something I've watched very seriously. That means that if you have a planet at 1 degree Aquarius, moon, obviously ascendant, 1 degree Aquarius, other planets, Sun, Venus, Jupiter, any other planet, if you have at 1 degree Aquarius, then Saturn is going to station here. That means that almost all of May, all of June, Saturn will be around 1 degree of Aquarius. And I'll just show this to you so you can see what is happening and also understand it. So this is Saturn here. And if we go to May of 2022, okay. So here we can see 26th of April, Saturn is still in Capricorn. And then 27th, 28th, now it's gone into Aquarius. And then it's 1 degree Aquarius. And if we just go 7 days, 2 degrees, it hardly moves. And then 19th of May, it's 26th of May, it's 1 degree. And there's it's now retrograded 3 degrees. And then if we go a bit further, you'll see that Saturn hasn't moved a lot. So it stays around that 1 degree position for almost 2 months. That means that any planet that is underneath it, it's getting squeezed down, and it is it's a challenging position. And if you have moon there, and the thing is you have to be kind to yourself. You have to understand, why are we studying astrology? Because we know that this is happening, and therefore we are not trying to fight through it. We are just doing our spiritual things. Bhakti yoga is very useful in that as well. And then 22nd October, Saturn from 0-5 Aquarius will move backwards. And then 22nd October, he's going to stop at 24 degrees 25 Capricorn. And here you can see, I had Barack Obama's chart, President Barack Obama's chart. You can see here that he has his ascendant very close to his degree. That means this is not a transit over the moon, it is transit over the ascendant. So it is a pressurized time for him. You know, sometimes people are doing the exact right thing when these transits are taking place, but at times the unexpected is what we don't know how the unexpected energy is going to come up. So as astrologers, we watch this. If somebody is coming for advice, then we are giving them a spiritual advice, you know, to how to deal with these aspects. So, and then there is one other thing, as far as Saturn is concerned, that the whole period has challenges. So watch for them and react. Do not think it will not affect you, as some challenges will be experienced. Saturn demands effort, restricts, it can bring expenses, both emotional and financial. So do plan for it. You know, we have to always respect Saturn's transit. Because he's the one who is demanding the payment of our karma. He's telling us that this is our karma, we have to pay for it. So wherever Saturn is, whatever he's transiting in our chart, we must honor that, because it's something we need. It's a debt we have to pay back. And how we pay back, it depends on every individual. It's not a negative situation, but we have to think that this is a transit to be respected. And Saturn impacts other signs as well. So maximum impact is to Capricorn, and it's 8 from Gemini up to April. And unexpected changes for Gemini, they can feel unsettled. 4th from Libra, stress, change in career. April to July, this is only for a few months. It is Saturn, when he goes into Aquarius, is 8th from Cancer and 4th from Scorpio. So this more impact for Cancer, Scorpio will be 2023. This is, I would say that if you are Gemini, ascendant or moon, if you are Cancer, ascendant or moon, you have to plan for the future. You know, you should be doing some remedies for it. And that is most important factor here. And then Manasa Nakshatra is a special nakshatra. That is the 25th nakshatra from the moon. When Saturn transits this nakshatra, this is challenging emotionally. So this year, Purva Bhadra moon are experiencing Manasa all year to 17th February 2022. And Uttara Bhadra moon after that. You see, the transits will change. Saturn, Manasa Nakshatra, Saturn changes nakshatras, then this is a different way of looking at the transits. Saturn's nakshatra, at present, Saturn is in Shravana nakshatra, and then 2022, rest of the year, it is in Dhanishta nakshatra. So again, you can look up if you have planets in Shravana, late Shravana, Saturn is transiting there, but then he will go into Dhanishta, and he is going to be in Dhanishta. If you have planets there, then Saturn will be impacting Dhanishta. So then the next the three most important transits we watch. This is Jupiter in Aquarius and Pisces. So right now, Jupiter is in Aquarius, and Jupiter is the blessing. So wherever Jupiter is, he's giving us blessings. He's opening opportunities. He's giving blessings, and Aquarius, whatever sign Aquarius is, if you have planets there, this is not a stress energy. The main thing is this, that Jupiter is in Aquarius to 13th April 2022. One of the plus points of it is Jupiter has just gone into Aquarius on 22nd, I think, 19th of 20th of November. And it's going to be in Aquarius till 13th April 2022. One of the big things about Jupiter in Aquarius is it's no longer with Saturn. It has completed its debilitation for 12 years. So this is good. And secondly, both Saturn, Rahu influence Jupiter, but in a positive way. Saturn is in its own sign, Rahu is exalted. Both provide solid support. So if we just look at the chart right now, let me just put... So you see this Jupiter is just moved into Aquarius. It's no longer with Saturn. Saturn is like a roadblock. When Jupiter was with Saturn, it was like a blockage, whereas it's in the sign of Saturn. That is different, and Saturn is in its own sign, and the Aquarius has two rulers. Rahu is exalted. This is there till April. Then Rahu Ketu will change signs, but Jupiter will also change. So Jupiter is changing on 13th April. Okay. So Jupiter in Aquarius, so then we have a Jupiter in Pisces, 13th April 2022 to 21st April 2023. This is a really positive aspect. Jupiter in Pisces also very spiritual. Remember, April is everything is changing in April. So don't expect this April itself, because that is the shift of energy in April. But Jupiter goes into its own sign. It's very positive. It's no longer under Saturn's influence. There's Hamsa Mahapurusha Yoga by transit for Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces. Now, Saturn is also creating a yoga, but Saturn is much more, he's a taskmaster, whereas Jupiter wants to make life easier for you. So Aquarius, slightly easy, but Jupiter and Pisces, he's going to be protective. And Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, much easier energy for them that they are going to experience with Jupiter and Pisces. Jupiter will retrograde on 28th of July to 23rd of November. Normally, when Jupiter retrogrades, I'm only watching the day it retrogrades and the day it goes direct. I don't watch the whole time, because these are specific time dates, and usually on those particular days I'll avoid doing things, and I advise you also to put that in your diary, avoid doing things, and it is important. And then other retrogrades next year, Venus from December, actually 19th December to 29th of January 2022. So the immediate retrograde we are going to experience is of Venus. Then Mars is going to retrograde 30th October 2022 to 12th January 2023. It will start its retrograde in Gemini, go back to Taurus. Now, Mars retrograde can be quite disruptive because Mars is the planet of war, and sometimes they can be, minor war, major war, something. But normally, Gemini, Taurus are not so much warrior type of signs. But one has to be still, again, watch for 30th October, 12th January. Mars is turning retrograde. And then Mercury is retrograde. This is something that we watch all the time. That it's all in earth signs. So actually Mercury retrogrades are quite good. 14th January to 3rd February, 10th May to 3rd June, Virgo 19th September to 2nd October. So all the retrogrades, usually I put the retrogrades in my diary. I know, I mean, if not for me, because I'm seeing charts all the time. So I'm looking at this diary. So this page, I'm using Shri Jyoti Star, the software, and he has a very good page here. So here, I'm just going to go to 2022. Here, this is 2022. It's giving all the ingresses. That means when planets change signs, you can look at all the signs. You can also look at the nakshatra changing. So, it made my life very easy this time because this is recent. They have, because when I had to look at the transitions, you could see that. And below that, this is the retrogression report for 2022. What you see here is this is the start of the year. We are starting the year with Venus retrograde. And then Mercury will be retrograde, but at a given time, Venus, Mercury, 2 retrogrades are there. Then the second Mercury retrograde and Saturn goes retrograde on 4th June. This is day month, and Mercury goes direct on 3rd of June. So we could say that energies disturb 3rd, 4th June. Certainly Saturn going retrograde, I always watch that as important. And then here we see Jupiter goes retrograde on 28th of July. Jupiter retrograde is not very negative. It's just fresh, just the day we have to watch out for. And then there's the 3rd Mercury retrograde. And then here in October, you can see 22nd October, Saturn goes direct. Definitely this time to watch out for. And Jupiter goes direct in March, and 30th October, Mars goes retrograde. So these dates, I'll be talking about it. I have a YouTube channel. I talk about all this on that all the time. But the thing is that all 5 planets retrograde in 2022. So in 2021, Venus retrogrades right at the end, but Mars did not retrograde at all. So life can get out of balance during retrogrades. Usually it's important to watch the start and end of retrograde. So that is an important timing to watch for. But, these are all the nature of the planets. The moon is changing every day. Planets will go direct, retrograde. So we have to keep an eye out on what we are doing. So the final transits that I'm studying are Rahu Ketu. Why Rahu Ketu are important? Because they cause the eclipses. And eclipses, so Rahu Ketu are exalted in Taurus Scorpio up to 12th of April 2022. And 12th of April to end of year, Rahu Ketu are in Aries Libra axis. So that means that the eclipses are shifting from Taurus Scorpio. If you have got moon or ascendant or sun in Taurus or Scorpio, then these Rahu Ketu in Taurus Scorpio are creating some change for you. And then Aries Libra axis is the next one. Again, ascendant, sun, moon, if you have, they are overall indicating a change for you. So when you watch the transit of Rahu Ketu, you see that they are connecting opposite houses. So one transit is usually challenging. They are pushing and pulling. So, of course, if you have, say, Rahu in the first house, he's giving you opportunities. Ketu in the seventh house is creating problems with partnerships. If you take fourth house, 10th house, fourth house is home happiness, 10th house is career. So wherever the access is going, it is impacting you. Another factor with the access is that if you suppose, one sec, let me just go here to. So this is 2022 chart. You see Rahu Ketu are in Aries Libra. Now suppose you have a planet at exact opposition in your chart. So let's say you have moon at 17 degrees Libra, and on the opposite side of the moon you have Mercury at 17 Aries. That means that when Rahu Ketu go over that point, they will hit both the planets identically. So that is something to watch for. And this is important to see when you're studying the Rahu Ketu transits. And mostly we look at the eclipses. Like right now, we are in the eclipse season. I like to call it the eclipse season because the two eclipses happen side by side. I just want to talk about the eclipse right now. So what you see here is that see this 25th of 19th of November was a partial eclipse, moon lunar eclipse, and 3rd of December, that is a solar eclipse. See, it's 23:34 here in California, so it's not visible to us because it's nighttime. However, these are disturbed energies, so people can get disturbed by the eclipses. So right now, it's a very topsy-turvy energy, and you can feel very emotional at this stage for no reason at all. You can feel emotional. And one of the things to watch the eclipses is that you want the lunar eclipse to be after the solar eclipse. So what you can see in 2021 is that the last lunar eclipse was before the solar eclipse, and this one also is before the solar eclipse. And the reason why this is a problem is that you get emotionally heightened, and then the sun eclipse comes and it further creates the energy. Whereas when we look at the 2022 eclipses, this becomes the opposite aspect. And I'm just going to just take 1 minute. So you see the 2022 eclipses, the solar eclipses first, and then the lunar eclipse. So we have 30th April, partial solar eclipse followed by the lunar. That's the natural aspect. And then 25th October, partial solar eclipse followed by the lunar eclipse. I have to say that, these eclipses, they can be quite bothersome. We were in Sedona just now during the eclipse also, and there were so many technical issues. Otherwise, it was okay because we were doing something spiritual. So these are the eclipses for 2022. Sorry, I didn't put the these are 2022. I forgot to change the. So we can see 30th April and 25th of October. These are both partial eclipses, and the lunar eclipses 15th May and 8th November. But the main difference of the eclipses next year is the lunar eclipse follows the solar eclipse. That means there'll be a lot less emotional for us. There'll be a lot less disturbing. So that is important. So now coming to the end of today's class is that what about remedies? You see, we cannot think about doing something without remedies. So the transits are always moving. They affect the mind and emotions. We need to watch for difficult days, avoid making important decisions, being in large crowded places, generally treat with caution. When you know this is a disturbed energy, give yourself a caution and say, okay, this is a disturbed energy. I need to do something about it. Now, there are practical remedies. You can think about, this is throughout the year. You can think about nurturing your mind through good food, natural and seasonal, Ayurvedic diet, regular habits, sleeping, eating at proper times, connecting to nature. These are simple remedies, and the yogic remedies, those I would say are most important. Over the years, I've known Swami Sita now over 20 years at least, but I've known about the Shivananda, Swami Shivananda's teaching, ashram teachings for a long time. And I've been following them. And I feel that the yogic remedies, you can't just think, I'll do it now, I've got this transit taking place. It's a plan or life action that you're taking, effort. And so this is the tradition here: serve, love, give, purify, meditate, and realize. Serve is karma yoga. Service to others is the best remedy you can do. And love, of course, there's so much hatred around. You should not plug into that hatred, whether it's on social media or it's even writing a negative post. I've decided I'm not going to do any political writing at all, because I don't want to spoil my energy. Give, donation. You can donate to good causes. You can donate to the ashram, other good causes you should have. Always and if you can't afford money, you can afford time. You can give something, purify. Planets need purification all the time. Mantra practice, spiritual practices, all those, meditate, of course, and self-realize. So the Swami Shivananda didn't use multiple words. He gave just few words to explain this whole concept that is connected to our planets as well. And then the 5 points of yoga that you should incorporate: proper exercise, asana practice, properly classically trained asana. I'm very much in for simple classically trained asanas, and proper breathing, pranayam. That is how we are not aware of breathing. Breathing is our soul. When we are breathing, that is our soul. So we breathe, and just simple breathing, breathe in, breathe out. Every day you can then go more complicated. Then proper relaxation. I've only given this Shavasana. This is the yoga nidra, sleeping posture, but relaxing after everything, giving your time. Relaxation can also be nature walk, without sound in your ear and all sorts of things that are disturbing you. Now, proper diet. I've given here vegetarian. I've also said simple diet. I'm not saying you have to be not spicy. Highly spiced diet disturbs the indriya, it disturbs the senses. So then it makes you more desirable. So eating something simple is very important. Positive thinking, meditation, Vedanta, dhyana. Swami Sita is doing so many webinars and classes now online, and you have the opportunity to listen to her, and even during this conference, so that the yogic remedy is a lifelong remedy. You start doing it and you do more and more, and this is most important. And if you are afraid and going through hardship, hard transits, your life is difficult for you, then the best mantra is the Mahamrityanjaya Mantra. You can also do the Om Namo Narayanaya, which was part of our class, but the Mahamrityanjaya Mantra, Sage Parashar has recommended it for difficult dasha, difficult transits, difficult planets in your chart. And personally, I find that whenever I feel stressed, then I do this Mahamrityanjaya Mantra, and I'm going to chant it once, then we'll end the class, but I'll ask for questions after the chant. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshi Amamrita. Om. So I'm open for questions. Any questions you have? Anything?
It's a lot of information going on. Thank you very much. You have to all the time walk around with a gun.
You do, but also listen to it again.
But the general impression, tell me if I'm wrong, I was looking forward for Jupiter to move out and go to Aquarius and go to Pisces, but now it go forward, backward, Saturn, this, that. So it seems that still this next year will still be quite challenging, is it true?
I think a little bit less than this year, but definitely we can't be totally relaxed. I think, Jupiter and Pisces after April is a lot easier, but but Saturn is still very strong. And so we have to still take care of that.
So which planet represent COVID?
People have different ideas. Some say Rahu, some say Ketu. It's the nodes that represent usually Rahu Ketu. But I think that COVID came with Saturn in Capricorn. So I feel that as long as Saturn is in Capricorn, so it's some karma that we have to face. So, it's not so much the virus, but, viruses have been around, but it's some karma that we have to face. So I feel that it started almost at the same time when Saturn went into Capricorn. So until Saturn leaves Capricorn, which is in 2023 fully. Sorry. I'd like to make it easier. When it started, I thought after 3 months it'll go away. After 3 months, so as progressively it's happened, I'm getting more and more negative about it.
So another difficult question. Do you think there is a big chance of some form of war when Saturn Mars going to be conjunct in April or so, and Rahu is moving to Mars house?
Yeah, I think Swamiji, Saturn, Mars are not in planetary war for that annual chart. They are both in dignity. The degrees are Saturn, Mars can give some kind of instant some problem, but I don't think that I'm thinking more of technical things and those type of aspects, technical or infrastructure with Saturn, Mars. But definitely Mars retrograde also can give war-like situation. But these days, wars are on a different level. We've had this COVID situation or, things happening on the cyber. So those things are there.
Rahu and Aries.
Yeah. But see, Rahu comes into Aries after the Mars-Saturn conjunction is exact. Mars has changed from, but yes, Rahu is in Aries.
And what about the climate change?
Climate change, yeah, well, I think Kal Sarpa Yoga is also on. And definitely, I feel the climate change, especially 2021, was very important because of the eclipses were in Arctic and Antarctic. And I would say that one aspect of Rahu in Aries is that because Rahu goes retrograde, Aries becomes its last sign. So it's almost as if there's some wisdom that Rahu will bring with Aries, because it starts, if you see Rahu's transit, all the planets go direct, but Rahu goes retrograde. So his transit begins, if you take 0 degrees Pisces, Rahu will go, 0 degrees Aries, it'll go to Pisces, Aquarius, and final finish at Aries. So I feel that Rahu in Aries can also be bringing some sense to us.
Thank you for listening to the program, and do remember to subscribe, press the bell notification. Thank you.